Former President Donald Trump successfully won the New Hampshire Republican primary Tuesday night and did so by about 11 percentage points. But his performance was apparently not enough to convince former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley to leave the race. In her concession speech, Ms. Haley pledged to continue moving forward and several times referenced going home to her home state of, quote, sweet South Carolina, unquote, as a place where she could reverse the political tide. Polling, however, suggests that she is not as strong there as in New Hampshire. For the Democrats, President Biden, despite not being on the New Hampshire primary ballot, won the election anyway, with write-in votes that tallied about 67% of the Democratic aggregate. Congressman Dean Phillips, who said he had no fundamental disagreement with the president over issues, but believes Democrats should have a choice, particularly with an 81-year-old in office, secured 20% of the vote. An Emerson College survey released during the week sees a close Long Island, New York special election to replace expelled Representative George Santos. The race is between former Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi and Republican Nassau County legislator Mazi Maleza Philip. The ballot test shows a 45 to 43% split in favor of Mr. Suozzi. The best news for the former Democratic congressman is that the most likely voters within the sample breaks for him on a 51 to 37% split. The most troubling news for Suozzi are President Biden's and Governor Kathy Hochul's poor job approval ratings. Only one-third of the voters in this Long Island district, 33%, approve of President Biden's performance in office. 59% disapprove. Governor Hochul's numbers are even worse. Her approval index is 25 to 66%, favorable to unfavorable. The special election is scheduled for February 13th. Republican former presidential candidate Doug Burgum announced early this week that he will not seek a third term as North Dakota's governor, even though he has very high approval ratings. With his endorsement of former President Trump, and the ex-chief executive indicating that Governor Burgum would be primed for a position in a new Trump administration should the 2024 election go the Republicans' way, Mr. Burgum's time in politics may not be coming to an end. After the governor announced his decision to retire, other North Dakota politicos began to declare their own political plans. At-large GOP Congressman Kelly Armstrong quickly declared that he will run for governor and is considered the early leader. Meeting the court-ordered requirement to draw a new majority-minority congressional district in Louisiana, Governor Jeff Landry signed into law the legislature's map. The new lines will cost the Republicans one seat, as an African-American Democrat will be heavily favored to win a newly drawn 6th district that stretches from Baton Rouge all the way to Shreveport, cutting through the middle of House Speaker Mike Johnson's 4th district. Back in New Hampshire, a new University of Massachusetts at Lowell survey was released about the upcoming open governor's race. The poll finds former Republican U.S. Senator Kelly Ayotte, who lost her seat in 2016 by less than a percentage point, jumping out to a big lead in the Republican primary. Ms. Ayotte would lead former state Senate President Chuck Morse by a 54 to 22% margin. Election has a long way to develop, however. The New Hampshire state primary isn't until September 10th. Governor Chris Sununu is retiring after serving 4 terms. For Church Militant and the Ellis Insight, I'm Jim Ellis.